Namaste, Queen Yoga Bee here. So today's lesson is a follow-up on the triangle flow that I did for worker bees, except it's going to be for easy bees. So you will need 2 blocks. Obviously I have 4 because I have lots of them, and you will need a mat, obviously, and a timer so that when you're done you can spend anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes in Savasana with mindful breath. So if you forgot how to do mindful breath, you need to go back to that lesson. I also want to encourage you to remember how to space and brace. And if you forgot how to do that, there's a space and brace lesson. I'm going to cue you when to inhale and exhale. I'm going to go through the whole sequence, and then I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about it. It's not very hard. You have the option of holding each pose for anywhere up to 10 breaths or more, depending on what you want, and making sure that you work to your edge. So your edge is usually when you get tired, right? But counting your breaths, if you decide to hold in each pose, is a good idea, so that when you get to the other side, you have an idea of how long you're going to hold that pose, because you want to be balanced as much as possible. So I'm going to use English, not Sanskrit, which is what I did in the worker bees, but I expect my worker bees to know the Sanskrit name of the terms, of the poses, of the asanas. So here we go. I don't know the Sanskrit name for star. I just call it star because it looks like a star. That's where we're going to start. So we're going to inhale in star, exhale in triangle. So if you can bend your knee to get down here if you need to. You're going to inhale in star, exhale, pyramid. You're going to inhale in star, exhale, revolve triangle. Inhale, star, exhale, pivot turn. Inhale, star, exhale, triangle. Inhale, star, exhale, pyramid. Inhale, star, exhale, revolve triangle. Inhale, star. So here you go. That's it. I'm going to break the poses down a little bit more for you. You can do this as many times as you want, and like I said at the beginning, you can also hold the poses for anywhere up to 10 breaths. It's totally up to you. Always work to your edge, but you have to decide what your intention is for the day. So I'm going to talk to you about how to do triangle pose with blocks. Obviously I use the blocks, so star is pretty self-explanatory. Some people do star pose like this, but I just had you putting your foot perpendicular to that foot so that you're already ready for your triangle. So notice that your feet are perpendicular. When you do triangle pose, your legs are supposed to be straight, or as straight as you can get them. But I don't want you to extend your joints because you're putting weight on them. So hyperextend would be turn them almost back, so that what happens is if you do that, it's kind of a bone-on-bone rest instead of engaging your muscles. If you just slightly bend, it's going to engage your muscles. So also, when you go down for triangle, a lot of people have trouble reaching the floor, obviously. So sometimes easy bees can't even get to the block that they have placed there. But it's okay to also have the block in your hand so that you're here. And then you go here. That makes it way easier to get into triangle pose. The same thing goes for revolve triangle and also for pyramid. Now obviously I had 2 blocks because I had my hand on each side of my leg. If you can have a block in each hand. It's totally up to you. Make sure that it's secure enough that you aren't going to fall. It just makes it easier to get down there. Also, if you need to bend your knee more than a little, I get that too. Sometimes it's easier to go down with your knee bent. When you get here, then straighten your knee and get your hand where you want it, instead of just diving down with a straight leg. It a little more forgiving for everything in your thigh and the back of your knee. So let's see, what else? Oh, usually when your hand is up for triangle, I call it arm on fire. So what I mean by that is your arm is up like a flagpole and everything's on fire, which means I'm squeezing every muscle to the bone. I'm trying to make my arm as perpendicular to the earth as possible. Not here, not here. But then we have the issue of how to get your arm up there. A lot of people have trouble just raising their arm up like this. It gets caught. I have no problem with you going this way, but you still have to turn your thumb forward. I also let some of my easy bees and worker bees, and myself sometimes on days when I need to, I call it sneak your arm up. It kind of saves that rotator cuff if you have issues with that. So that's about it for as far as the breaking everything down. Remember that I would appreciate it very much if you would subscribe to Queen Yoga Bee. That's my channel, because that keeps everything going, motivates me to do more stuff. Now that the weather is nice, I find it harder to stay in and do these things, so motivate me. I appreciate you paying attention to your body and to my channel. Namaste.